Hello, all of you. Welcome to another session of Global GET. Hi, Javier. How are you doing?
Hello everyone, bienvenidos todos. Hello Reshma, saludos a Reshma y a todos de la familia Global G&G que nos visitan. Welcome all of you.
Wonderful. It's beautiful to hear Spanish, Javier. And our Spanish speaking educators, welcome to all of you and everybody around the world. So I'll just introduce ourselves first. My name is Reshma Honap. I am the GEG leader of Pune and Maharashtra from India. Though I live in California, but I love to help educators around the world. And with me, we have Javier. He is the GEG leader from Mexico. You can see the banner behind him. And
Yeah.
together, we are a part of Global GEG. Now, what is Global GEG? Global GEG is a team of voluntary educator leaders around the world who are here to empower and inspire teachers, education communities, schools, and anyone who wants to learn and inspire more other people around them. So we are all here to help you learn some tech tools, some pedagogies in education, as well as help you for your continuous growth.
Yeah.
So should we start the session? And we have today with us amazing educator, Mel. Hi, Mel.
Well,
Hello. Hi, Reshma and Javier. Thanks for the introduction. And I'm honored to be here to be able to share some things that I've learned over these past 9 weeks. So
And Mel
appreciate
is
that.
a co-leader of Global GEG as well. And she is amazing. And all the things that she's going to share, I think it is going to help all of us learn and inspire ourselves. Thank you so much, Mel, for coming. And the stage is yours.
yeah.
Thank you. All right. So hello, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I saw there's quite a few different people in the chat there. Saw Georgina, who's here from England, and it's 1 a.m. over there, which is ridiculous. I cannot believe she's here. But anyway, welcome to all of you. Thanks so much for being able to be here. So my session, it's called 9 weeks later, and I will talk a little bit about what that actually means and why I've called it that. So firstly, a little bit about me. If you don't know me, I think most of you do, but just in case you don't, it's your first time watching me live for whatever particular reason. My name is Melissa Aveling. Most people call me Mel. I'm an Australian, been teaching here in Cali, Colombia, though, for the last couple of years. I teach mathematics this year, grade 9 and 11. And before that, I was in Taiwan for a while, and before that in Australia. But my Spanish is not very good, even though I have been here for 2 years. I can sort of understand things, but otherwise, it's a very interesting experience. Let's just say that. So what is actually happening today? So basically my session, this past week, we've had a recess week for my school. So we haven't had work. So I've been trying to reflect on the past 9 weeks. So we had 9 weeks of school, basically. Then we've had a 1 week break. I've been trying to think about, what I've been using in my classrooms, what's been effective, what hasn't been, what I still want to use, what I don't want to use anymore, what I haven't used that I'm like, oh, maybe I should use that. So we'll talk about a couple of those things today. And if at any time you have questions about what I'm presenting, please let me know, okay? And I'll try to answer them as best as I can. So firstly, though, we are going to play a Blooket. So it's going to be a quick Blooket. Yeah, let's see. It might take a little while to load. You can use like what's in there right now. Like if you go to join.blooket, otherwise Reshma and Javier are going to help me post it in the chat for me. So you can join. Don't worry, it's not about maths, okay? If you saw it, not about maths, it's about food. So it's just a quick thing for everyone just to join in to start off with. Okay, don't worry, you're not being assessed or anything like that. I'm going to wait for a few of you to join. And yes, this is something that sometimes I do at the start of my class. My kids are a bit crazy with it. They're like obsessed slightly. But yes, you can join, you just enter your name, you can choose whatever animal you like. yeah, I'll give about 30 seconds or so. You can tell me in the chat as well. I mean, like if you have, sorry, Judy. Yeah, but don't stress too much about it, okay? I can also maybe participate. I'm thinking about participating. See if I can beat any of you guys or not. I'm not sure. I don't know how many people are actually watching right now. Someone called themselves Hogwarts. Okay, that is quite impressive, quite impressive. But yes, for anyone that's watching, feel free to join. You can also, if the link doesn't come through to you, because I know maybe on Twitter and Facebook it doesn't come through, but you can just go to the website and just put in that code, which is 267207. Okay, just in case you need it. You know Hogwarts? Okay, all right. I think maybe we're ready, unless anyone in the chat is going to tell me, no, we're not ready yet. Like all my students are like, no, please, I still need to join now. You can actually still, join in late, by the way. You don't have to join like immediately. So some of the students, it might take a bit longer. It's okay. It can still happen. So I'm going to put mine. I think we're ready. Let's do this, everyone. I don't know if you've played or not before, but let's do this. So I'm going to press start. You'll see questions on your screen. It'll say like, what is this food? You just need to answer what it is. Just press somewhere on the screen and choose a pumpkin and then click somewhere to go next. Look, I'm already on 20 candies. Are you guys jealous? Yes. You can say what, come on, small. So I set a 3-minute, Judy, come on. What is this? I don't even know what that is. No, I just got double candy, you guys jealous? But yes, basically just like if you're stuck on a screen and it's green, just press somewhere on the screen. It'll link you to like the next page, okay? So it'll get you to the next page, wherever you should be on. You'll get, what do you win, Stephanie? You get like lots of candy. Excuse me, small. I don't know what that is. But you have to you need to press on a pumpkin, okay? Pumpkin will give you, I mean, like lots of different things. Thanks, Georgina. What is this? So my screen has like a timer on it. Yours will not. So if you want to see how much time is left, you can look at the screen that I'm sharing as well. I don't know if you guys actually know all this food or not. It's very interesting. And you as a teacher can end the game whenever you like. So if you're like, I just want to suddenly end it, because some of the students are like, end it now because I'm number one. I'm like, no, you have to wait until the time is up. I'm sorry. I just did it for 3 minutes. So with students, sometimes I do it for maybe 5 minutes. That's usually what I do. And they're like, another one that you have to wait until the end of class. Sorry. So it is what it is. Wow. Oh no. So yes, sometimes I'll play with the students, sometimes not. Wow, Greta is on a roll. So the thing is, like with this game, you can like score super high without being super fast. It's just about luck. You need to get questions right, but I mean, it depends on that next step as to whether you end up getting any money or losing everything. Because some of you I know would have lost a lot of stuff. For whatever, like me, I just lost 50%, which is very sad. But students love it when they can steal money from like the teacher or from each other. Sometimes I make it anonymous so that the students don't know who they're stealing from, because some are like, oh, I don't like that person, I'm going to steal from them. But yeah, it depends, Oh. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have used Blooket or not before. It'd be interesting to hear what you guys say. Let's see. So usually the students are exclaiming and going crazy in the class when they're playing this. It's like another level. Or just moaning. Ooh, did it just end? Oh, congratulations, Small and Hogwarts and Judy. Well done. Well done. Okay. Oh, Greta, it's good that you love it. Oh, Rochelle, you're here. Hello there. I don't know if you just came in a bit late, but hello. Nice to see you. So yes, I mean, in Blooket, you can just share this screen and it will say, who came first, second, or third. As a teacher, I can click on View Report if I want, and then I can see, Rochelle played today. Yeah. then I can see how many questions each student got correct, but they can't see each other's unless I decide to share that as a class, which will be very random. But yes, sorry, Steph, how you don't get all the candy. I mean, clearly Small got it all, you know. But anyway, that is one of the things that I do use as a bit of an engager, you know, at the start of the class. Sometimes it's a reward, you know, for students because they're like, we want to play Blooket. I was like, have you finished all these tasks? Will we play the last 10 minutes of class? And they all go out of the class like feeling good or maybe feeling sad because they might be at the bottom. But it's, you know, you never know. Like in the last 5 seconds, anything can happen because especially if someone can swap, you know, with the highest person, they might be the lowest and the highest person gets 0 and they get 15,000 candies or whatever. So, I mean, it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. So I'm just reading the comments in the chat. It's quite funny. So talking about like different starters, right? Different starters that we have in class. You'll notice like what I'm sharing right now on my screen, and Steph Howe's actually here. She's live. So quite often what I do at the start of my classes is that I have one of these projected on the board. So right now, my school, we're fully face-to-face. Occasionally there might be someone that's virtual because of a medical reason, but 99% of the time I have a full class of kids that are in front of me. So usually when they come into the class, they have one of those, you know, how you feeling on a scale of pandas, on Yodas, on whatevers. And they have to think about that. And then when I'm doing the attendance, they can share which number they are. And sometimes those 1 to 9s are a bit interesting. They do have the Darth Vader where Darth Vader just looks exactly the same for all of them. And they just have, you know, actual translations for how he's actually feeling at that point in time. So students have like, you know, that sort of part at the start of the class just to share how they're feeling, how they're doing. They can decide if they want to explain it or not. And so I was saying like a big thank you to Steph Howe because this was actually from her resources. Like, I don't know if you know her, but she has this amazing site called Gold EDU. And eventually at the end of this session, when you get my slide deck, all the links to all the things are here. So if you do want to go to her site and see all the amazing resources, join her Google group. She has so much stuff that she shares. It's amazing. I also did a presentation in April or so for my school called Are You Okay? And there's a slide deck there with a bunch of different starter activities. Like you can share in the chat if you like about, you know, different starter activities that you've used before in class, about, you know, how, I don't know, what might have worked well for you before. For me, this has worked pretty well for like the first 9 weeks. Like, and sometimes, like, if I haven't done it with a class, like, where's the 1 to 9? Where are the animals? Why haven't you put them in? I'm like, okay, so you really want that right now. But I'm thinking of doing stuff that is a bit more interactive as well, because last year when I was more virtual, on and off the whole year, but I did put, you know, those Jamboards where they do those this or that, or would you rathers and that sort of thing. Or I had Nearpods, you know, with those open-ended questions and stuff at the start of lesson. Anyway, there's a few different ideas in there. There's a bunch of amazing things inside that deck, okay? Anything you can think of, basically, of like how to start your class. But you guys can share as well how you might start your class as well in the chat. You're welcome to do that. Now, here is the crazy slide. Okay, so this is what I did like earlier this week. Was I was thinking, okay, it's been 9 weeks. I have a break now. Let me actually see what have I been using in my classes. So as I mentioned, I teach grade 9 and 11 mathematics this year. I have 4 grade 9 classes, 1 grade 11 class. So I was like, okay, so let's have a look. What tech have I been using? What activities have they been doing? And it was quite interesting. So, I mean, like if you look at this list, you might be like, how did your students survive? Weren't they all overwhelmed by the ridiculous amount of tasks that are on there or the different technologies? But if you look carefully, like there are some that I only maybe used once or twice, okay, and some that I did use quite consistently. So we'll talk about first the ones that I used a lot of the time, so majority of the time, and why I decided to use those and why they were effective or not effective, depending on the style of the tool. Because I know that maybe some of you know about these tools, some of you maybe you have never seen them. I mean, some of you it's your first time playing Blooket, you know, and that is something that I've used quite a bit. So the grade 9s, I have been using my daily agenda. If you know me, you'll know that I have this daily agenda, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in a moment, okay? And was I asked the students at the start of the year, and I showed them what I used in my previous classes, the previous year, and for all of my classes, I used the daily agenda, which is a slide deck where they can just click and see what lessons they are doing for that particular day. And the 9s were like, oh, we want it on we want a daily agenda. We also also want the links to be posted on Classroom. So for them, I've been doing that. The grade 11s, they were sort of like, some of them were like, yes, some of them were like, no. So I was like, okay, let's just try it without. So this whole 9 weeks, we haven't been using a daily agenda. I've just posted links in Classroom. So I'm thinking of, whether I want to continue doing that with them. Like, might ask them again, is it easy to see the stuff or not? So you can see here, this should play automatically. Yeah. So this is an example of a daily agenda that I have for one of my grade 9 classes. So they just click on the date and they can see what it is that they have to do for the day, if there's any particular links that they need to get done, whatever things they are doing. Usually I have like a voice note, which I use Mote for, generally speaking. But that's their one-stop shop, and they have like a published link to that deck, okay, in Classroom. So they can go to Classroom and just click on the top. It's like under important things, and they just click on the daily agenda. But obviously that work, like for some students, they like using it. Some of them, they just like going to Classroom and finding all the links inside there. But some of them mentioned that they do appreciate it because, if they're absent or if they want to go back to a certain date and see what was done on that day, they do go and use that. Okay, so that's something that obviously, like the students, they didn't make that, something that I made that I'm using with them, but that it has worked pretty well. So it's something that I'm thinking about with my grade 11s. Will ask them, I think this coming week when we come back, to ask them if they do want that. And I can, but some of them do have siblings that are in my grade 9 classes, so they probably know how it's been working. So one of the big things that I have been using, you probably saw, is Desmos, okay? I know a lot of you probably know Desmos as a math tool, or maybe you don't know it at all because you think it's a math tool. I mean, it can be used for math. It is, I guess, primarily originally designed for math classes, but you can use it for a variety of different things. So Desmos, basically, you can see where students are at, what they're completing. You can do it live or asynchronously. You can pace it, whatever. You guys are going to do a Desmos. Don't worry, there's only one question of math in there, so you don't need to stress out, okay? But yeah, you can see this. So I've anonymized all the names at this point in time, so students don't know who is if I decide to share certain things. I had a lot of different activities, so you might have noticed, like grade 9, I had maybe 7 different things. I like to use it for investigations and also check-ins with students, seeing how they're going. Yeah, I've designed a few different activities myself. And so they might start off with something like this, which sloth are you? They share it, okay, and explain if they want to explain. Then at the end of the class, they have like a reflection slide where they can explain like how they're going, with the particular task. And obviously you can do this in a lot of different things, a lot of different types of platforms, but this is something that students have responded to well. Like they've said that we really like using this. Can we use it again? Because it's very versatile. There's lots of different things you can do within the actual platform. So I am going to get you to join actually with me. Let me see. I think I do have the link somewhere. Maybe. Yes. Let's see. Okay. I'm also going to share my screen so you guys can see here. So you guys can go to student.desmos.com if you like and type in that particular code, or you can go to the one that is probably being posted in the YouTube chat. I do not know. It is possible. But also, if you have questions about Desmos, you can also ask in the chat as well. But you should be able to join, hopefully. And if you guys need me to post in there also, let me know. But that is the join link there. You can also see how I'm sharing it on my screen. It is paused at the moment, the activity. So once you get in, it'll probably be like, you are paused. I will unpause it though, so that once you join, we'll Shannon more. I'm going to anonymize at the moment. So usually I would not share my screen with Desmos, but I'm just showing you just for now. So I'm going to paste you guys to the first couple of screens. Okay. So I'm just going to show you. So the first screen that everyone does see, just in case you're not in the activity, it is on a scale of broccoli. So on a scale of broccoli, how are you feeling today? You need to like draw a circle around however it is that you're feeling, or a line. Yes, you can click on the draw tool and you can decide which one it is that you're feeling like. You can change the color of your thing. There's many different colors here, and the style of your pen if you would like a different style of pen. And in here you can decide like if you want to share anything else in particular, you can put it in there and I will see that as the teacher. Let's just see. you see a food theme, Judy. Yes, indeed. There's a few of you that are joining here. So I can also call on students, like if I want to go and see, let's see, I'm just going to see a snapshot because it's anonymous right now. So let's have a look. If I look on here on my scale, okay, so people are feeling a few different things here. I can also see an overlay option. So I can see a lot of people are saying number 2, but the rest are pretty spread out. Some of you are like joyful. Some of you are like, excuse me. And then you can see like how people have explained, or someone said Mel rocks, which does not really explain anything, but okay. And then, yes, and then I've anonymized it though, so people don't know what's going on. So at the moment, I've pasted you guys just to the first 2 screens. So if you go to the second screen, if you're in here, the second screen is, this is one of my favorite foods, by the way. This is a xiaolongbao, okay, a little dumpling. So it says you can, wow, draw drawing. It's very amazing. I don't even know why I wrote draw drawing. Maybe I just meant draw. I got very excited about the word draw, clearly. That's why I wrote draw drawing. So draw your favorite food. Try to use different colors. So you can choose from any colors in here, like what you're doing in the other one. You can decide how you want to draw. Look at my amazing, yes, this is my amazing xiaolongbao. Woohoo. But all of you, if you're on the first, on the first screen, you can go to the second screen. You can just press the little right arrow at the top and it'll take you to the next screen. And then if you're on here, you can't move forward because I have restricted you to the first 2 screens just for you to play to start off with. So I'm going to see how you're going. And again, as a teacher, like I would not necessarily share my screen right now. Okay, this is I'm just showing it because it's the live. I've anonymized you all, so you don't need to be worried about like, oh my goodness, they're going to see my amazing artistic drawing, you know. So let's have a look at the summary. Let's have a look. Who is drawing? Wow. Okay. So we have an interesting box here that looks like maybe a watermelon. That looks like an arrow. It says Yamcha. Okay. Are they pointing to here? Okay. Then this looks like a, I do not know what that is, or something. That could be a fruit. Oh, look, chicken parmigiana maybe. Oh, no, it's not. Hold on. I need to match the name. So Sarah's saying, I love chocolate cake. So this is chocolate cake. Ingrid is saying chicken parmigiana. Erica is saying pizza. Evelyn is saying sushi. Richard's saying, okay, noodles. If you're not sure who you are, on the top, I think it's top left-hand side, you can see your name. So I anonymize all you. You're all like famous mathematicians now. Yes, because you are all famous mathematicians, actually. Okay. And so we've got tacos, we have chicken, a bunch of different things. And you do have different colors, by the way, guys. So, I mean, you can choose different colors if you don't want to just use blue. You have this little color tool there where it's that blue with the little scribble in there. You can change it to orange if you like. You can change the color to whatever you do like. Okay, and it's like that. Okay. Now I'm going to move you guys. I'm sorry if you didn't finish your drawing. Now I could decide if I want to leave that open for all of you, I can push you all to the next screen. So I'm going to, if you see what I'm sharing on my screen in YouTube, I'm pushing you to the next 2 screens. So all of you, if you're active on the screen, it's going to push you there. So you notice like 8 people got pushed to that screen. That means 2 people are sleeping or they're not on the screen. Now I can call those people out. I could go and say, I'm going to undo my anonymity and I can say, Greta and Maria, you guys are still sleeping. Go back to the Desmos. And when they go back to the Desmos, it'll push them to the next slide. Okay, I'm going to anonymize again. So if you guys haven't used Desmos before, there's this option for like matching. So literally you drag. So I'm showing in the YouTube just as a demo because I know that you guys probably haven't used it before. So what I do is that for example, this is an apple. So I'm going to drag my amazing Bitmoji onto this apple. Then it turns blue. And now they're matched. So it says that these 2 cards are now matched. They're ready to go. So I can go and match. Then when I'm ready, I'm going to go to the next slide, the next screen. And I'm going to check my work. So using the amazing UFO thing, I'm going to say check my work. And it's going to tell me how many I've gotten right. So it's telling me I've got 2 out of the 12 cards correct. So I can go back. So it means that what I just matched then is good. So I'm going to go back now. And I'm going to go and see if I can match some other things, okay? So I'll give you a few minutes. I'll check if anyone's asking questions in the chat. Oh, Steph Rostein. I can give feedback also. Yes, I can show you how I do that. Students can't respond though, so I can quickly show you. Here I go. Someone's asking about feedback. So if I go and have a look at Sarah. So in Desmos, if you're seeing my screen in YouTube, I have this little comment box and there's show correctness because it's a card sort. So this little comment box, I don't know who Sarah is right now, but I can say, hi, Sarah. Looks like you are almost there. You need to drag the cards on top of each other so they change to blue and say 2 cards. Okay, because this student, very amazing. Okay, she's actually dragged everything and looks like the correct positions, but only one of them has actually matched. So I would have to like actually drag it until it turns blue like that. Then it changes to 2 cards. That means I've matched those 2 together. The student cannot reply to my feedback though. They can see it, so they can go and at the top of their screen, they have this little comment box. They can click on there and they'll say it's like one new feedback thing from your teacher and they can go and read that. Okay, so right now it says, so before it said unread, now it's read. Okay, so that student, Sarah, she's seen my feedback now, so I can see what they're doing. So let me go back. Can I write on the student's cards? You mean in the screen? No, I cannot do that. Okay, so most of you are getting the idea. I can also, as a class, if I want to, I can show, I can show the students the correctness. So I can go in here and I can say show correctness. But I have the card check as well. Okay, but they can see if I want to share my screen, I don't want to do the card check screen or whatever on there. They can see, for example, like Richard, he hasn't tried yet. Trichette hasn't tried yet. Sophie's almost there. She's just got 2 things that are missing. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea. I don't know if anyone else has questions right now. Okay.
Hi, Mel.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm a math teacher, and this is amazing that you showed me, because after 9 weeks, even for my class, when I say, okay, let's do Desmos, half of my students say, oh no. So probably they think again more math. So I think this is great that you showed. So may I ask you a very basic question? Is this a part of activities in Desmos, or they are special resources that can be found?
It's a part of activities in Desmos, but also there's like collections. So I have special collections that I've curated from other people that have created things on Desmos. So they created like this card selection sort is actually from a guy called Kurt Salisbury, I think that's his name. In all of my activities, I always quote to say like where I got things from. So if I quickly show you here, since I'm demoing Desmos just briefly. Don't worry, guys. I will unpaste you in a moment so you can go and do the rest of it. Okay, I know some of you are like, really? We need to do this now? But yes, okay, since I'm here. I did actually talk about this in Guatemala Live the other day. But okay, so the activity that I created, or I based it on, is this Hello Desmos activity. And every activity that I create, I'll write in there the links to wherever I got particular things from. So like the check-in, I got it from this person, the Y-intercept screen, the card sort celebration, the exit screen. They're from these particular activities. I just copied them from there and put them into my own. I don't know if that helps. I have like collections. So I mean, I can also send you my collections too. So like I've added specific collections, like Cool Slides compilation. So this one has 59 activities, like Dana Minishelli. She's amazing. She's compiled like a bunch of really cool sets. So like this one, starter and check-in screens, that's from Kurt. So that means someone else maybe did the celebrations, but there's a bunch of different things that I just copy paste from, and I just cite them basically like in my description, so that if other people want to go and find it, they can. So look, someone's created a bunch of on a scale of, as a starter screen. David Johnston. So David Johnston's the guy that creates card sort celebrations, so that after someone's done like a card sort, after someone's done a card sort activity, they can go to the next page and then check their things. So he's got like light bulbs, whatever. He's done amazing things. It's all from Desmos, okay? And that's David Johnston. So he's pretty cool.
That is that's wonderful. And is there a limitation to any number of activities that you can have in your collection?
No, you can have unlimited as far as I'm aware. I've created a lot of different things and there hasn't been any limit for anything. It's free. And the students get really engaged with it. They're really excited about it. They're like, woohoo, this is awesome. Like, can we do this again? Some of them do find it difficult if it's like an investigation. They're not used to, doing things alone. That's why I do like to turn on like the anonymity thing and share people's screens, share people's responses, so people like know what's going on. So I'm going to move you
That's
all
great.
to
That's
the
great.
last. Yes, sorry. Yeah. So I'm going to move you guys along a little bit to. There's an ordered thing. So right now, if you're active on the Desmos, and it looks like quite a few of you maybe came to the YouTube to see what I was sharing instead of going back to the Desmos, right? So I know if you do want to see the next part, if you want to participate again, you can get back into the Desmos, and it should push you to this screen that I'm sharing now, which you just drag and drop the following classes basically. So you can order the classes from the favorite class to the least favorite class. So right now, by default, math is, of course, on the top because best subject ever. Well, not necessarily, but anyway. Okay, and then you can like drag and drop the things to order them from, the favorite to the least favorite. So favorite should be on the top and least favorite should be on the bottom. So there's lots of different things you can do in there. I see in the chat people are just saying I can use it for chemistry. Yes, you can anything. Jenna and I did do a session on Desmos last year, actually. All right, so I can have a quick look again. Let's have a look at the summary. Let's have a look at the ordered, how people ordering things. Ooh, some people put science on the top. Some people put art on the top. Wow, so many people in science. Science is popular. Okay, and then a couple of people with art, some people saying ELA at the top. Now, of course, I can go in there to check, okay? And let's have a look at the drag and drop. So drag and drop, I did not create that one. I took it from someone's activity, Introduction to Mathematics. You have to click this dot and drag it to wherever you think the y-intercept is. So so it says, oops, this is the x-intercept because that's on the x-axis. I didn't design this one, but I think this is super cool. Then you go and drag it and look, great job. That is super awesome. I did not do the programming for that, but this is the thing, you can take activities from whoever, okay, and just make sure you cite them, okay, in your description. I think that's the best thing to do. So if other people want to see it, they can. You can also look at, it's a really good opportunity for those kids or for teachers that are into like programming. So seeing the computational layer and adjusting things to make it suit whatever it is that you want. And then the last screen is you use these things. So how well did you understand the class today? You can drag it, to saying it was okay, I can work on my own, or like I need help. I really like using these screens at the end of the class so I can get a general idea of how students are going. And then how do you feel about learning, whether you really liked it or whether you're like, I didn't like it, and then you can share in here what's one thing that you need to work on. So I would write here, what are the goals for the class that we should have actually understood. So for you guys today, it's just a test. So could you use different colors with the sketch tool? Could you match cards with the pairs? Could you drag items? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now I can have a quick look here. I know some of you are on the other pages right now, but I can have a quick look on this screen to say, okay, so most people are saying that they understand it, they're feeling okay, not really anyone down on the other side. So people are saying they need to work on math and X and Y axis intercepts and that sort of thing, okay. And I'm going to stop the pacing so you can do whatever. I can also press pause on the screen at any time if I want to call your attention to something. So at certain points, maybe I should have done that for you guys so you weren't just involved in the Desmos. But I do that. And the students that are paying attention, like, oh no, why'd you pause it? I want to keep doing it. Like, well, we have something important that we need to discuss right now. So that's why I paused it so you guys can bring your attention up to here where I am, whatever I'm sharing on my screen. Any questions? Okay. Oh, Shannon said, oh, yes. Said, thank you. Yes. No problem. Thanks for joining. Also. Anyway, the main thing today was not about Desmos, but I just wanted to show you like one of the tools that my students have found really interesting. Like they've found that it's engaging. There's a lot of different things, like endless opportunities. Obviously, I'm a math teacher, so I mean, there's a lot of things that are attuned to mathematics, but you can, like, I can see what you guys are sharing in the chat. I mean, you can think of lots of different ways of how to use this, right? And maybe some of you haven't thought about it before. But yes, I can share different things. I've paused it right now, but I mean, when you get the slide deck later, okay, I have a link also to this activity. So you as a teacher, you can go in there and you can share it with colleagues and they can play with it as well if you want to host a session with them, okay? But yes, I'll unpause it for whoever wants to do that. My code for this activity to join as a student is open for 1 week. So usually I might set it just for 48 hours because I just want students to work through it during that time, but you can set it as to when you want the code to expire. So yes, anyway, so that is Desmos. So the other activities that I'm sharing today, okay, I'm not going to get you all to join all the different things. Okay, I'm just going to have a bit of a brief overview, I guess, but thanks for your support and engagement. And again, if you guys have any questions about what I'm talking about, because remember, this is like a reflection thing for me after 9 weeks, what's been working well. So this is something that has worked quite well. Okay, I've used it quite often with the students, especially for investigations, just engagement, seeing how they're going. And yes, so there'll be links in here. You'll get this at the end, okay? So if you want to use this particular activity, you can just click on that link and you'll get a copy of it. Okay, so Nearpod, most of you probably know Nearpod. This is an activity that I used in the last week. I asked them to draw their fruit, use whatever colors they like. Then they had, I think they had a time to climb with a Halloween theme because, you know, Nearpod has a Halloween theme. They had like 5 or 6 different questions they had to answer. It's sort of a bit like that's sort of based on speed and how fast they're getting things correct. They had like a matching cards activity. This is like a pre-unit thing. So before we start the next unit, I wanted to see like how they're going. They have like VR. So I asked them, you know, where is this place? Where do you think this is? Why do you think I'm showing this to you? They realized in Greece, and that's where Pythagoras actually used to live back in the day. They had a collaborative board where they can share, you know, their different thoughts about different things, and all the students can see each other's but not each other's names. Then I had an open-ended question asking, you know, what sort of things do you think we need to review with Pythagoras? And then at the end of the class, they had to redraw the thing from the start of the class, but using only triangles. So Nearpod is pretty versatile. I mean, you guys probably seen this before, right? But yeah, it's like, well, when would I use Nearpod and when would I use Desmos? Because both of them you can pace, you know, like Nearpod, you can pace them through, like as soon as you go to the next slide, all the students move if you're in like live, or you can do student pace so they can do it in their own time. Like being in person with the students, I usually do live, and then I might post the student pace link on Classroom for those that might have been absent so they can follow on with their self another time if necessary. But the reason why I might use Nearpod over Desmos is like for the VR, okay, so where they can go into different things. I mean, it's very versatile. You can do a lot of different things. Like as Greta's saying, like, yes, okay, there's a lot of different stuff in there. Now, grade 11s, I noticed I only use this once, and that was for a bunch of interactive videos that Nearpod had on one of the units that we were starting. We're doing Voronoi diagrams, which is pretty fancy and interesting. So they had a few interactive videos that I wanted them to work through on their own, but in the class. So I didn't do a live pace thing. So but I think there are, it just really depends on the, I guess, the activity, right? The content that I'm doing as to how the tool can support it. I'm not just going to use Nearpod because I think it's cool. It'll depend on like what I'm teaching, how I'm pacing it, like what tech tool lends itself really to help assist. Like this activity, it was really good just to get the kids into Pythagoras, you know, by different ways. Obviously, you can do drawings in Desmos as well, but I like in Nearpod how you can like share the drawings like and it'll go onto their screens. They don't know who did what. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it is interesting. And yes, as Maria's posting over there about VR, yeah, pretty cool. I mean, I really like getting them to try to guess, you know, what they think it actually is. So Nearpod, I pick and choose as to when I want to use it, but it has its benefits. So I use 3 Nearpod activities or something like that. I used a lot at the start of the year, like getting to know each other. There's a lot of activities with that I use Nearpod for. I'm sure maybe in the chat some of you have said that you like Nearpod. Edpuzzle. Okay, so If you know me, I was having this goal to flip my classrooms this year, as in, so the students do most of the content at home. And then when they come to class, I can see maybe what they maybe need some extra help with, extra support with. And then in class, we do more like investigative activities or practice-based. So grade 9s, I didn't really do it. I mean, I gave them an introductory Edpuzzle, like to get them to know how to do it. It was a really funny activity, like with a duck. It was very funny. I used that last year as well. It's hilarious. It wasn't math, but I was just showing them how to use it. And there's a live feature with Edpuzzle as well. For the 9s, I haven't really used. I'm trying to think like for this next unit, because there is quite a bits and pieces for a content that can be a bit heavy. So students did appreciate, for example, my grade 11 class, I did maybe 7 different videos. I recorded the videos myself, and like Edpuzzle has this new feature where you can screen record directly in Edpuzzle, so you don't have to download and upload again or whatever, which is really cool. And students did enjoy being able to take notes like at their own pace, and instead of, because in the class, sometimes with maths or with any subject, sometimes there is some content you need to do some direct teaching with. And they do need to have some notes in their book. And I found that doing like a 5-minute video, maybe some of the students might take 10 minutes to go through it with a couple of questions in there, was really useful for their grade 11s. I'm still trying to think about how I may or may not use it with my grade 9, something I'm still thinking about. If you have used Edpuzzle, I'd love to hear about how you've been using it in your class at all. If you do try to flip your classroom, I do think it's really useful, because throughout the thing, I can see, how many people have completed it, their scores or whatever. You'll notice that, and some students, like if they don't complete it, they notice in the next lesson that they're behind, and they can do it in that class if they want it, but I'm not reteaching the content, basically. And then I love putting like an open-ended question at the end of the video, so they can tell me like, how did they feel they went with the video? How are things going? I mean, like, so I knew that from there, if they had particular questions, I could go over them at the start of the next class, so that was really beneficial for me and for them, as a student. Because remember, it's about the kids, right? I mean, I like to put voice notes and stuff inside Edpuzzle as well. I don't know if they think that's creepy, but it is what it is. But yeah, it is pretty interesting for me anyway. So those are 3 tools that I use a lot. I mean, I use the Daily Agenda, then Desmos, Nearpod, and then Edpuzzle. I did use a bunch of other things, but okay. So I had a bunch of things that I used last year, but I barely used this year. If you saw like my summary page, there were things like Flipgrid, Docs, Slides, Padlet, Jamboard, Whiteboard.chat, okay, that I used a lot last year. But then in these past 9 weeks, when I had a look at like the summary to see how much I've been using the activities, it was almost like I used it hardly ever. Like Docs, I used for one group activity. Like they had to do this rotation activity, they had to share the doc. And the Whiteboard.chat I also used one time. And there was one day at the school that the internet was awful, and that just made me go, oh, and I just gave up on it for that moment. I'm a Whiteboard.chat ambassador, so I know it's amazing, okay, but I guess, certain things happen in classes, right? And then you just, at that point in time, okay, I need to find a solution and to do something else. Right. And then for Padlet, I used it for one activity where I wanted all my grade 9 classes, so 4 groups. I wanted them to all share this thing that we're doing, reflections in Google Slides. They all had to post a photo of how they made themselves symmetrical or an image symmetrical. So I used it for one activity. And Jamboard, like, I don't know if you can see the date here. That's August the 20th, okay? So, like, at the start of the school year, I had them doing those this or that activities, like spaghetti or pasta or spaghetti or pizza. Okay, and they had to share, which one they preferred. And then Flipgrid, last year I used a lot. This year, I just used it for like the hello I am. And then at the end, like my grade 9s, I did ask them to do a show and tell with a partner about what they've learned that unit and to show evidence from their book or from classroom or whatever they've done in the unit. Yeah, and then Mote, I mean, with the students, I occasionally left Mote messages like as feedback. I didn't get them to use Mote though, and I use Mote with parents. So weekly emails with parents, I use Mote with the transcription and translation feature to Spanish, because most of the parents of my kids, their first language is Spanish. But with students, not so much. And then, Slides, I used it once for like a reflection, and then for like resources like choice boards that I designed for them to like go and choose different things to do or different activities. But I noticed, I was like, what happened? Like, why didn't I use these things? And I realized, okay, I mean, like things like Whiteboard.chat, Jamboard, Slides, Docs, those are all collaborative tools. So things that I should use to get my students to do collaborative activities. So this really woke me up to go, wait, so did I do group activities? I mean, collaboration is so important in the classroom. So maybe they did maybe more things in person, like on paper or something, but not much digital collaboration. So that sort of woke me up to the fact that, okay, we need to get some more collaboration going. I mean, that's so important no matter what subject you're doing. I mean, students should be collaborating with each other, whether it's digitally or like in person, like on screens or whatever, you know, that's important. So that's a thing that I do want to do more with, especially maybe with Jamboards. Whiteboard.chat is so good for group activities because you can see what all of them are doing, and they're all on like their own individual whiteboard. So like if I have a group of maybe 5 students and there's 5 groups of 5 students, I can see what each of those groups are doing at any particular time. So I know that's a really good tool for that. I guess I'm thinking, like, why didn't I do the more group activities? I know the students like group activities. It's just something I need to think about. Okay, for this next, like after my break, that's something that I do need to start implementing. And Flipgrid. So Flipgrid, I really want to start using more again for my grade 11s. So all they did, grade 11s, was that intro vid at the start of the year about, you know, how to say your name, different things about you, what should we know about you. But I think it's important maybe for some of those classwork tasks, some graded classwork tasks, that they can maybe, if I have like a set of 5 questions, they can choose 2 of them and they can explain it through Flipgrid, because I do think it's really important for students to understand how to like verbalize the explanations. Obviously, this is not just for maths, like for any subject, but it's something that I think that is really important. Maybe I'm not just giving them those opportunities that, I don't know, the option, you know, to say, hey, you know, for this activity, instead of just showing all your work on paper, and showing your process like that, how about you verbalize it and you explain it? And I think Flipgrid is amazing like that, because Flipgrid's got so many new tools now. Like they've got music, got backdrops, got all these new boards, all these different features, really easy to write on. I think I should maybe do more of that. Like the other things like Padlet, I only have a free account, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use that much more. But things like Flipgrid and other things where I can use to collaborate, I definitely want to get into again, because I was just very sad, you know, very sad that didn't do that. But yeah, you guys can share things in the chat as well. I haven't really been looking. So this whole thing about collaboration, right? So I'd really like you to join this Jamboard. I don't know if I shared it in the chat. I mean, you can see it's a bit.ly. I don't know if I shared that. I don't know if someone can share that. It's the Jamboard to join. You can see this here. It should look like this when you guys get in. Hopefully you guys can all access it. I'm pretty sure that I set the link so that everyone can join and edit, hopefully. So there's one thing that the first frame there is that using the shapes below, create an image that means something. I know you guys can't talk to each other. You can use sticky notes if you want to, or you can write in the YouTube chat. Obviously, if we're in person, I mean, you'll be able to talk to each other. Or if you're on Zoom, you could be in breakout rooms or whatever. But I do want you guys to move the things around. Hopefully, you can move them. If you can't, let me know. I'm pretty sure I shared it so that anyone with the link can, yes, you guys can move things. Okay, fantastic. So you have like a bunch of shapes there. I just want you to just go and drag things around to make something, make some sort of scene. I'm very curious to see what you might create here. If anything, oh, we have interesting things here. Okay. I know there's a bunch of you on here, so this could be interesting to see what you might use. Yes. So any shapes or whatever. I mean, you could use this for anything. I mean, I haven't, but the thing is, I haven't been using Jamboard, like barely. Like I use it as a teacher, like to teach things, but not for my students to collaborate much. I did a lot last year, but this year I haven't. So it's something that I'm thinking of. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Looks like we're making eyeballs and I don't even know what's going on here. It's very creative, guys. You guys are very creative. Yes, I'm interested to see what we're doing with those longer rectangles there. Oh, we're angling. We're changing the angle of some of these things. Very creative. Yes, you can rotate things around. This is very interesting. But obviously, you could do this for anything. Okay. Once you think you have created whatever it is that you have created, This is really cool. On my screen, I have like 2 pieces of dirt, so it looks like the circle thing is like a face and it has legs. Someone's put in a GIF. That is super cute. Oh, there's like a person. It's turning into a person. This is super cool. This is what happens when you collaborate, okay? Obviously, you're anonymous, so I don't know who's doing what. But anyway, what's this? I'm making, what does it say? I'm making global group holding hands. So cute. Very nice. And then I'd like you to go to the next page. So thank you for your amazing creativity. But I want you to double click. I know there's maybe 10 people on here, so you can maybe insert more sticky notes if you like. You can double click on a sticky note and write your name and an idea. If you want to remain anonymous, you can. That's no problem. Okay, but share an example of a tool that you have used to assist in collaborative activities. So whether it's children or adults, whatever your situation is, so you should be able to double click on the sticky notes, or you can create your own. Let me see who's on here. I know that there's a few of you. Wow. I'm going back to here now because wow. Okay, someone's inserted a photo as well. So with students, I would have said, like, you can only use the shapes that are there. You cannot put any images or whatever, but this is fine. I mean, this is okay. You guys are adults. Yes. And then on here, so someone's saying Google Slides at their favorite, Greta. But you guys can insert anything that you have been using, because obviously, I mean, what I am using in my classes is obviously not enough right now. I mean, like you saw, there's a bunch of different activities, but it's like the purpose, right? It's like, why are you using these tech tools? That's the thing. It's not like, let's use Jamboard. It's more like, okay, so what's the content that we're doing and what are the skills that we hope the students to get out of this? What do we want them to improve in? What do we want them to develop, right? So, I mean, you can think about lots of different things, right? But yeah, for me, it's like, okay, I need to actually get my game on and actually start doing some stuff here. So what have we got here? Padlet for collaborative work. Yes, so that's something that I haven't really used much. I think it was really cool. Like last year, had an activity with Padlet where we actually did a inter-country exchange with a group that was in Chile. So we did that reflecting in slides activity where they had to have a photo of themselves or something that was not symmetrical. They split it in half and reflect it so it looks symmetrical, and they shared it there with their name. That was really cool exchange activity that we did with a group last year, but I didn't do that now. So I'm guessing we've just got a couple of ideas here. I'm guessing the rest of you are maybe a bit too shy to share, or some of you are involved on the first slide and still editing things on the first. I can see that. Some of you guys are still editing things there. But feel free to share. No pressure also, okay, about if you want to share anything here about things. Oh, wow. Okay. So I have Google Slides for their gender, mode, Screencastify. Okay, so I use Loom a lot. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm slightly obsessed with Loom. So my recordings and stuff that I do for students are through Loom. Wow, what happened? Okay, I don't know what happened there, but something happened. But Maria talked about, she said, yes, I think she talked about Moat, Screencastify, a lot of awesome stuff there. But yes, thank you so much for sharing. I'll leave the jam open for now and I'll restrict it later. Okay, but thanks for that. If you have any comments, don't hesitate to share things in the chat. Oh, Liliana's here. Hello. Yes. So, and it was like, okay, is there anything different that I want to try at all? I mean, there's so many different things, right, that are out there. And it's like, is there anything that maybe is different that I want to try? So I do have this that, I don't know if Rochelle's here, but she actually shared this on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, 99 Math. Something that I might try. It is based just on math. Sorry, people that are not math. Okay, but I thought it was quite interesting because basically it looks like this. Like you can choose a topic, like for example, like addition, whatever. There's lots of different like basic operations. So I can, for example, say addition. I'm just going to show you. I only just played this with myself and my 3 other avatars, because that's very sad, but I wanted to see how it went. You can choose like what type of numbers you want to use, integers or decimals, the number range, maybe just like from 1 to 10. There's lots of other options. You can say start practice. You can do it live, or you can assign practice. You can decide like how long you want the rounds to be. Maybe you just want like 30-second rounds, and you just want 2 rounds or something like that. And I could say next. But basically, it's like I can start the practice. The students practice for 30 seconds, and then they have a break, and then 30 seconds. I want to see in the chat if anyone wants to play this. It's basic addition from like 1 to 10. Okay, so some of you are saying, yes, you want to try it. Okay. So I'm going to copy this link and put it in the chat. I don't think it's as fun as Blooket, but anyway. Okay, I've put it in the private chat. I think Reshma or Javier can check that out into the big chat. Can see. And with 99 Math, minimum of 3 people have to join. Okay, if there's not 3 people, that's what I found because I tried to play with just myself, but I had to play with my 3 different selves actually to get the game going. So you do need 3 people to get into the game. But yes, you can use the link that's been posted, I think, in the YouTube, or you can, I don't know, just follow what's on the screen there. Oh, Pilly, you're here? What? I thought you were driving. Yeah, Maria, it's really weird. So I'm just looking at your comment now. I don't know why it disappeared. It changed into something else. That was weird. Well, someone is called 48857, or someone, that sometimes happens to my students as well. They accidentally write the code instead of their name. Anyway, okay, there's 8 players that have joined. I'm just going to start it because it is almost like 1 hour. So you can just see how it works, okay? See what happens. Okay, so you're like, I don't really have to share my screen, but it should be on your device. So on your device, you should have some questions. If you're on the computer, you can use your keyboard, or you can use like the little calculator thing that's there. And it's just 30 seconds of questions. And I can decide to show the live leaderboard or not. So if I show the live leaderboard, I can see who's getting what's right or wrong, who's fast. Well, Judy is on a roll. Okay, well, I can hide it. So you can decide, I guess, what you want to do there. Okay, so round 1 is finished, and we could talk about things as a class if you wanted to. And then I'm like, okay, see if there's any questions, and I can say, okay, start next round. So there's only 2 rounds. So you can decide how many rounds you want to do. Totally up to you. Oh, Pilly, you're home. Oh, Maria, you're the code. So yeah, I guess you can decide whether you want to show the live leaderboard or not. Okay, I mean, it's totally up to you as a teacher. You can decide. I'm sorry that it's maths, guys, but it's numbers from 1 to 10, so it shouldn't be too crazy for you, too intense, I'm hoping. If it is, I'm sorry. Yeah. So let's have a look. How did we go? I'm guessing results might come up. Wow, average accuracy 100%. Congratulations. Wow, and 100% accurate people. Oh, 2 people actually put in the code. Wow, most improved John. Very nice. And Pili, congratulations. Okay, so I could see, I don't know what class challenge is. I know what that is. I'm scared to click that. Should I click that? I don't know if I should click that. What's class challenge? Okay. No, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, oh my, what just happened? Okay, anyway, so that's, yes, you guys are awesome at mathematics. See, I know that some of you came into this saying that I can't do maths, please no maths. And then look, there's all the maths. And you guys did very well. And obviously you can make things a bit harder. Okay, it doesn't have to be your super basic things, but I just did that just as a trial. So you can see what that looks like. But yes, thanks, Rochelle. Obviously, I don't know if you're still here, but she's the one that shared it on Twitter. They seem to be pretty new. And I think Reshma mentioned might be good for, yes, I think iPads, why not? I think you can use it on any technology. You can do it on your phone, right? Oh, you mean an app for iPad or through like the browser? I'm not sure what you mean there. Maria, you can clarify if you have another question there. So, I mean, it is on in the hour already, so I do want to ask if you guys do have any questions at the moment. And I do want to say a big thank you, obviously, to you guys for participating. But any questions about any of the things. I don't think it's an app, Maria. I think it's just on the browser, but I would have to investigate. You might know more than me actually right now. I'm not sure. Reshma, you have a question?
No,
Wait, I
I
haven't
just,
finished my thing.
yeah, Mel, it was amazing. And all the ideas, yeah, look at Javier.
Mel, you are amazing people. It's a lot of information. It's great. Thanks.
No problem. And it is free. Yes, all the things that I shared with you guys today. I mean, Edpuzzle, I have my own account for that, but you can do up to 20 videos free. And Nearpod, I have my own account, but you can also have stuff for free there. But things like Desmos is completely free. Blooket is free. Blooket's really fun. So it is some good times there. We will share, I think, the slide deck. You guys want to share the slide deck in the chat? I do have a link to that. So all the resources like from there are in there for you guys. You guys want that? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, we have the slide deck link, and I can share it in the chat right now.
Sure.
And Mel, we have great responses in the chat, and you kept the whole class like we were your students, right? So you kept us engaged and with all these fun activities. And like I said, 9 weeks is, for me, I would say it's a very less time to have that introspection, like what works and what doesn't work, because sometimes we try to use different things at different times. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. But you did give us a great insight on what worked for you, and that's a great inspiration for us to try those things. Like, I was blown away with the Desmos activity. I have never seen that being done by a math teacher, so thank you so much for sharing. And those who all attended our session, or if you're going to watch it later, please, please, please follow Mel. She is amazing. She has great ideas to share with you all. And do follow Global GEG. All the sessions are available on YouTube channel for Global, as well as we look forward to your feedback, which tells us what works for you and what not, and that helps us give you better sessions.
Yes,
So
please fill in the feedback so we know like how to improve and anything else that you'd like to see in the future. But yeah, don't feel like you have to try like every single piece of technology. I mean, I know that when I shared my list, you guys are probably like, what is wrong with her? What, I feel so sorry for her poor students. But really, it's like trying to find out, what works well with your classes and for whatever it is that you are teaching. So you just focus on a few that you think that, that are really good for your class, whatever it is that you are doing. And then there are others that you might add in now and then that don't require like a lot of previous knowledge, because I think it's really important for students to really get to know that tool that they're using, just so that they feel more confident with it, when they are doing it, instead of like, I don't know how to use this thing. Because feedback that I got from my students, because I got them to fill in like a feedback form, about the unit, what do they like, what do they want more of. The majority of them were pretty positive feedback, but there are some students that said that there were some tools that they never used before, and they're not that confident with them, so they do want to have more practice with them, for the next unit. Or some of them prefer just more stuff that's on paper, even though I feel like I did so much more stuff on paper. Like from the previous year, I felt like I was going back to like traditional. And I know there is that thing, right? A lot of people are saying that, going from virtual, like to face, and like, how do you make sure you don't lose all that stuff from the past year? There's things that we learnt. And yeah, I mean, it is, you just need to be careful, and also always ask your students for feedback. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt, because I mean, you are the teacher, but I think it's still important to hear their voice and for them to know that you're hearing them as well. But yeah, I'm really grateful to Reshma and Javier for supporting me here for the live. And then the rest of you guys is like at least 10 people or whatever that join the Desmos and join the Blooket. I mean, it's really good because like this session, it was really important that people did join so you guys can interact, and that you can, just play with the session. And just remember the slide deck does have links to those resources and my contact details there if you do need me for whatever reason, no problems. But without you guys being in the chat, I mean, the session will be very sad. Okay, I mean, like if you guys didn't join those activities, I'd be like, so this is Blooket with me. Yes. Okay. So, but that's what this like. Sort of the students, students get into it. Students like, oh, this is so cool, and then other students want to join, right? So that's the idea. Just getting the students engaged. That is the big thing.
Yeah.
And I think, Mel, you pointed out to a very, very important topic, because we used so many edtech tools last year. And this year, when we go back in person, we don't want to lose all of those great things that we can do with those tools. So I have a lot of students in my class, just like you said, paper and pencil. I teach math. I love them writing down each and every step and uploading the work. But I still have so many students who love using something like Kami. So they say, oh, no, it's okay. I'll just use Kami and finish my assignment. So I really like that the new things that we learned last year, and we are able to use them going further as well. So it was a great session, Mel, and it was great to see all of you, those who are watching and would be watching later. And thank you so much. Connect with Global GEG, and don't forget to leave us a feedback. See you all. Bye.
Bye.